Hey everybody, what's better than talking comics for 3 hours with your peeps? Shooting another video to talk about comics. So we had our chat on Larasa's channel this week, and it was great. And I was just in the mood to kind of go through these so I can start putting stuff away and just kind of in the mood to talk. I won't be talking about all of them. I read an enormous stack of books this week, but I did want to highlight some of them. Um, so maybe let's start with the stuff that accidentally, well, not accidentally, I got two copies. I have one on a pull list and another I picked up because I didn't think I had it on the pull list. So I ended up picking up two copies. You've seen people talk about it. We did touch on it at the end of near the end of the stream today. And I love this book. I think it's fantastic. I don't really have much else to add that everybody else hasn't already said about this book. So we'll just leave it at that it's a phenomenal comic. And if you're not reading it, I'd highly recommend it. I started in on this. I'm not actually done. It's sitting beside me here. Daredevil, The Man Without Fear, Marvel Illustrated books. So it's got two Stan Lee and Wallywood classics, Daredevil classics. Trapped by the Fellowship of Fear and The Stilt Man Cometh. So the first one is Yellow Costume Daredevil, an issue that I don't have. Sorry, I don't know the issue off the top of my head. The issue number. This is a great, I don't know, I'm really enjoying actually reading it this way. The focus on the panels on the page has been pretty great. This came from the collection that I was helping sell. So this one is now mine. It's in really nice shape. Really nice to have that. One of the things that I did rave about in the stream that I just want to talk about here. So Retrofit and Big Planet Comics did this Bloody Stumps Samurai. Talked about this quite a bit in the stream today too. Phenomenal read. I read it and it's really stuck with me. Right off the bat, we get kind of this introduced to the samurai character as he's talking to his master about being betrayed rather, and then exacts his revenge literally in the first 3 pages of the book, till we're left with this image here, and so is everybody else at the school of the master, pinned to the wall, and a threat in his blood that he's going to come and get everybody. And then throughout the rest of the book, we get a sense of what this character is like, and he's very driven to become a samurai. It's done really well. I found the kind of pacing really nice, and the way the story was laid out, the sections, because you don't really know what the hell is going on with this guy. It's a complete mystery, and then it starts to get revealed what the deal is, and the story just completely opens up and unfolds from that point, and it's phenomenal. And then it goes farther than I would have ever imagined. Almost it's really to the point of being a horror story at some points. Really good. There's there's 2 essays for back matter. Just looking for one image that really stood out to me here. There's 2 essays for the back matter that tell you the history behind the story. 1962 is when it was from. I love this panel there. I think that's just gorgeous. Hiroshi Harada is the creator's name. Apparently there was something put out by Dark Horse of his as well too. So 1962 faced a lot of problems. It was banned for a while. So they go into the history there in the back matter, but should give a shout out also to Ryan Holmberg for the translation in this one. He's done a couple of books now for Retrofit. I've seen a couple on their website. As I was talking about in the chat today, support the publishers themselves. Go to Retrofit. They still have copies for sale there. I believe it's at $20. Yeah, $20 US, and then however much it is to ship. It's a really beefy book there. Well worth your time if you're interested in samurais, if you're anywhere interested in manga in general. Another highlight for me from this recent batch was this Detective Double Digest. Beautiful presentation, really great story. Legit LOLs from T. Fuller. Just a couple of moments, especially this moment. I posted it on my Twitter as well too. If it'll focus, probably won't want to focus there. There we go. What does this look like to you? God damn it, it looks like a busted mirror trying to pass as something profound as these our detective characters chug-a-lugging on Pepto-Bismol. Wrong. It looks like your busted attitude reflected back at you. I don't got time for the wannabe cop routine. I got glue to sniff and artwork to make. Now get out of my studio. Really good. It's a great story. Well on my radar. I'm going to be looking for more. Apparently there's a Double Digest Western before this, and then after this one came out, there's now I think it's a Double Digest horror. No, man, avoid that shit like the plague, G. Avoid it like the plague. Live the good life. I don't even waste my time with that nonsense, with that popularity contest. Nice to see you, man. One of the ones that I was a little disappointed in, that fell a little flat because I loved the first issue of this. A couple of the books that I got were these Reptile House mini anthologies, issue 3 and number 4. I see that there's 6 of them out now at this point. This one didn't work for me, whereas the first one I found a lot of fun, a lot of variety of artists, a lot of humorous content. This one just didn't work for me. The only story that did is actually a continuing story throughout the entire series, and you can apparently buy it on its own. It's this story called Bloodhorn that takes I found this one fantastic. I thought this one was really great. I really loved the art. Highlight of the book for me. So I think what I'm going to do is probably pass on getting the individual Reptile House, and I'm going to order the book, the collection itself, and just get this one story collected. I mean, great presentation and everything. This issue just kind of fell flat for me beyond that one story. The rest of it, nothing really to write home about. We'll save that one. We'll talk about this guy. So 2 Samuel D. Benson books. I just finished this Long Gone number 3 just before jumping on camera here. A Different Sky I finished this morning. Crazy outsider art kind of deal. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Let's start with this one. This one, not much going for it for me. I thought it was a little too disjointed. There was a couple of short stories in this one. One of the short stories was pretty decent, but even that one, like, it's a, this is somebody who's not in this particular issue. This is someone who's not dealing in the happiest subject matter. This was a pretty big downer, this 0.5 part 1 paranoia hell wrench. And then looking back, it makes a little bit of sense. And now for your mental pleasure, here is Leggy Smiles in Searcher's Point. Inside front cover, we get just a 1-page strip. And considering the kind of down tempo the rest of this book takes, I guess that makes sense. It's pretty interesting looking art, from somebody who clearly just wants to draw and wants to create. So I like that part going for it. But the stories in this one didn't really work for me. This one, however, is one story throughout the whole thing called A Different Sky. And this was really enjoyable. This hit a whole bunch of crazy territory. These sort of doped out, drugged out teenagers. A local sports team called the Hawks. Their logo apparently is stealing the blood or the energy from people in the city to eventually create a creature that's going to take over the city. We get a crazy bird cult in here as well too. We'll look it up. And then we get some angel apes as well. So our two kind of heroes are sent on this mission by this homeless guy, drunk and high homeless guy. So here's one of the bird cultists right there in the middle. And sent on this mission basically to, they're going to have these visions to get in touch with these angel apes that are there, then going to be the ones that will save them and save their city. Here we go. Here's one of our characters going into a trance to be contacted by the angel ape. It's weird that the camera keeps jumping like that sometimes. And then it just ends up this big bird that's summoned these apes say it's this egg that grows out of the crumbling of the stadium where all the sports fanatics are. Everybody ends up dying watching the sports. An egg grows, and this bird is hatched. And apparently it's just a big old dumb bird that's just going to eat a bunch of stuff and shit all over the place. So the apes decide they're not needed. They're not going to do anything. It's entertaining. It's ridiculous. It has some funny moments. And then on our last page, our heroes decide to go for a swim and play the drowning game, see who can stay underwater the longest. And the very last panel, we see our bird flying away in the background and just taking a big shit again. So that was super entertaining, completely ridiculous. And I thought really kind of matched the art very well. So that one was pretty great. What else do we got? One that was an absolute visual treat was Miffed Ruffians, the penultimate subterfuge. It's No Man comic number 16. Yes, I promise I will be your translator. I will make sure that we're okay. Just you and me, though, G. Just you and me. So this is No Man Press, and it's No Man number 16. So it's Roger Bignon from 2020. First printing, Silver Sprocket, San Francisco. So he's done 15 other issues before this. I had a look on the website. I've bought 2 more issues. Everything else is sold out. He feels like he's one of those creators that he just does limited editions of stuff, and it sells out pretty quick. It's gorgeous to look at. There's nothing much, in my opinion, there's not much story-wise here, but when the art is this beautiful and the colors are this vibrant, it's a real sight to behold. I looked at it under my black light as well too, and I tried to take some pictures. It glows so much in person. My camera wouldn't deal with it. My camera dimmed down the image so much that it ended up just looking all blue and washed out. It didn't do it justice whatsoever. So you'll just have to take my word for it that this is an absolute visual treat. So I got 2 more of his things on their way in the mail. And again, I'm sure that they'll just be beautiful to look at. He also sells some prints on his website, which I should say. No website in here. So it's No Man Press anyway. So if you look up No Man Press and you type in Miffed Ruffians, you'll find his website. Even just having a look at his website to see the work that he's done, gorgeous, really, really incredible stuff. So that was a lot of fun to read about this band playing their first gig together. And I love that it's tripping out the image a little bit here. So that was fun. One that had promise, but I feel like I need to get the other issues to figure out what the hell was going on, is this Free Money issue number 3. Love the art. There's a matte tint kind of flavor to this art here. But this is full on right in the middle of a story, and it just feels like I don't have much of anything to go on. I like this part here. Jared Osborne, if you're watching, are you a banker or something? Beat. I work for the mob. That looks like he could be right out of Night Streets, that cat character there. So like I said, it feels like there's look at that. Knocked out the signal. The aliens must be trying to get in touch there, G. But interesting enough that I want to find more issues. So the next thing that I'll be looking for is issue number 1 and 2 of Free Money, so I can get more of a sense of it. I don't know how many issues there are now already, but quite a few, I think. And again, this is Pittsburgh as well. Yeah, and you can get ads. Distributed in runs of 4,000 in Pittsburgh, PA, with an additional 1,000 that are sold overtime all across the globe. Cyberpunkapocalypse@gmail.com, and then danielmccloskey.com is the website for him. So that's promising. Not much to say about this one issue though, because again, just felt like I'm not on any sort of footing to give it a fair shake. What else do we got? Talked about this one in the chat, and there's not much to say about it. Jesse Jacobs is incredible. His art is incredibly striking. I love the way he tells a story. I love the worlds he creates. I love the depth that he goes into for even the creatures and their makeups and how they procreate and what they eat. Really, really good. Highly recommended. As I continue this rapid fire reviews because of the big stack, another one that I'm kind of glad that it's over. I love Lesniewski's art. This story I thought was kind of bunk. Matt Kint, the art is amazing. There's no doubt about it. Lesniewski is an incredible talent, man, and I hope he continues to do more and more books as time goes on. But this story, it kind of takes a turn in this final issue, and it was just like, yeah, so it just kind of fell flat for me story-wise. But I could look at his art all day long. He's got something else coming out that you can pre-order now. I haven't done that yet, but if you follow him on Twitter and you pre-order and show him proof of your pre-order, you'll be entered into a draw to win some original art. So I'm tempted to do that just because, give myself a fighting chance. So pick it up for the art and gloss over the story itself, and you'll do just fine. One of the things that we didn't get a chance to talk about on the stream is Rain Like Hammers. We've had 4 issues now, so I finally was able to catch up on issue 2, 3, and 4. My new way of packing my comics there. 4 in 1 here just to save on room and cut down on my plastic usage. This is phenomenal. This is a really, really great story. Issue 4 ties in a lot of stuff that we've been seeing throughout the first few issues. And again, like, Brandon Graham has got an absolute hit here. This is really, really enjoyable. I love the way he's telling this story. I love his art. One of the things that I've said to Damien before, maybe we talked about it on the previous stream, I really enjoy the way he, like this kind of thing. That's incredible to me. I think one of the things that often happens, like, is this kind of level of detail and how you're using a line. I find it fascinating that he's able to use such minimal line work and just color and create this 3-dimensional space that completely, for me, is absorbing. And then turn around and do stuff like this, where there's quite a bit of detail on that page. It's such a unique world that he's able to create. It's recognizable, but it doesn't, and maybe this is oversimplifying it, but it doesn't feel like it always fits some of the kind of often used tropes when it comes to these kind of environments and this kind of science fiction story that we read in comics. There was one other panel with a space that really stood out to me, but of course I can't find it now. Oh, here it is. I skipped past the page. That's why. This one here, this bottom panel, I love that image. Like when I came across this, I sat and looked at this image for far longer than I probably should have, but something like that, and just breaking it down into just the few, there's still quite a lot of lines, especially in the background there, but it's just a perspective drawing, but there's something about it that completely draws me into this world. And because he's got his own voice, because he's throwing in these little gags, even if some of them are going right over my head because some of the writing on some of these details in the background is so small, I just can't make it out properly. It's fantastic. I'm really curious to see how this wraps up. So far, we haven't been introduced to the character in our first story. I'm guessing that that's coming with issue number 5. I'm guessing that we're going to get some sort of wrap up by the end. Actually, I'm going to put these over here and not try to do that right now. But who knows? Even if he doesn't do it, it won't be a problem. I think that whatever he does, I'm completely on board. It's one of those things of I don't really know where it's going. I honestly don't care to some degree because I'm just on board for the journey, right? This is someone who's kind of in his power right now and doing a story that clearly he's thought about and clearly he's put some time and energy in, that it's his own thing, and I'm willing to full on hear his voice throughout these 5 issues. So really, really recommended. We'll talk about that one. We sort of talked about it on the stream. What else do I have here? Talked about that one. Here we go. Let's have a brief word about this. So 2 issues of House of Yang I managed to find and gave a read. Not bad. So Modern Comics was the reprint arm of Charlton Comics. So I don't know when these original House of Yang came out. I haven't looked into it too much. Russ Works, who will probably be watching this later, had recommended this. I'm really glad I tried it out. So far, I'm digging it. It hasn't completely grabbed me yet, but it's interesting enough that I'm going to continue with it. I'm going to keep searching for the issues. And what I actually found in the boxes too, because I do have maybe 5 or 6 Charlton comics, actually maybe a few more than that, but an issue of just Yang. So I pulled that out, and that's issue number 16. Like I said, I haven't looked into how this all fits in together. I'm assuming it's part of the same universe. It would be strange if it wasn't, but this is pretty good so far. There's some really great scenes, some really fantastic art. I'm digging it. And what else do we got? Beating the shit out of some guard dogs there. And again, touches like this, we were talking about it today, like in Carmen, same kind of thing. I love these kind of touches, a character moving through multiple panels. I really dig that. I think that works really, really well. So yes, I will stick with this, and I'm going to keep hunting for issues. It feels like it's a book that I've seen out there quite a bit, digging through the bins, but like with a lot of Charlton and stuff, I don't often give them the time they probably deserve. I'm sure I'm passing over some incredible comics, but I just generally don't look too closely at the Charlton stuff or at modern comic stuff. So that'll change from this moment on. I'll be keeping my eye open a little more. And then there's the cover for issue number 2. Amazing covers. Really, really great. So yeah, that's those. Hello, Mr. Foam Panels. Let me just flip through this one. Was there much to say about this one other than I enjoyed it? I don't think there was. I think I talked briefly about it before. Chamber of Chills, another one of those that it's just kind of nice to read some of these in between reading a bunch of other stuff. The Brute, hey? Okay, I'll keep my eyes open for that one, The Brute. This is great. I've since found 2 more issues for dirt cheap, so I picked those up. I haven't looked through them yet. They kind of just sit here on the side. But this is a fun one, and some horror reprints with amazing art, halfway decent stories. Again, there's not an awful lot to these stories, but that's okay. It's just nice to kind of sit and flip through and read and enjoy the art. I'm just flipping through to see if was there something that stood out to me in this particular issue, and nothing is ringing a bell for me. Terror in the North. Yeah, there was nothing really that jumped out at me in this particular issue. So not much else to say about it. Oh my God, I'm so glad to see Space Riders back. I posted about it on Twitter that I don't know how he does it. It feels like this is a book that just gets better and better as it goes on. The art and his use of color in this book is outstanding. The story itself, there's nothing wrong with the story, but it's just an absolute visual treat, this book. They could keep doing miniseries of Space Riders from here to eternity, and I would pick up every single one. Yeah, his art is just stellar. The use of color in this issue, I think this is probably the best issue of all of the runs art-wise that he's done so far. They're going on kind of this, each character is going on this kind of inner journey, and each one has a different color kind of assigned to them as they're going on this journey. I love these pages here with what looks like airbrush colors coming into play. And every single one stands on its own. And then you get to this, and Damien showed this in one of his videos too. I think this image here, I think is just stunning. Really great use of just 3 colors there. So this is a total treat. And if you're not reading Space Riders, it's well worth your time. Really, really fun book. The new, yeah, it's absolutely all about color. 100%. The new Storyteller, one of my favorite books. I don't have every single issue. I try my best to pick up the miniseries when they come out. But part of my deal is I don't pay enough attention to when things come out, so I have missed stuff. I do have this now on a pull list, and this will be on the pull list, and every future one is on the pull list, never to be taken off. So this one is Tricksters, and it was a great start. So each miniseries has kind of a theme, whether it's witches, whether it's dragons, whether it's ghosts, etc., etc. And then it almost becomes, well, not almost, it's a folk tale. We go to different parts of the world for different folk tales involving that particular subject. And this is a great start, really nice start. The art doesn't blow me away on this one, but the stories are always really enjoyable. And for the most part, the stories are I can share with my daughter too. I got her a collected edition of the Fairies one as actually quite a while back. So for the most part, we can read these together as a family, and they're not too intense, you know. But highly recommended. You can pick up any issue and you're getting into lone story. This is going to be a fun, and I think they're all of 4 issues. Every single one, I believe, is just a 4-issue miniseries. I don't think there was any that were longer than that. Batman, the 10-Cent Adventure. This was also from the collection that I kind of have taken over and taken some for myself. This one actually might go back in the bin to carry on to the next person. Rick Burchett, written by Greg Rucka, Rick Burchett, and Klaus Janson inking Burchett. And I think that's the thing that was odd to me, because I really like Rick's art, but Klaus is Klaus, and he gives everything a different feel. So I guess I was sort of hoping for more of a Batman animated type of feel, and you don't get that. And then on top of it, you get kind of part one of what turned into kind of an event of, I do vaguely remember it, Bruce Wayne, the hunt for Bruce Wayne, and Bruce Wayne getting arrested and for murder and this sort of thing. I never followed any of that stuff when it was coming out, but I do remember seeing it. So yeah, I mean, it was what it was. I'm glad I read it. I'm glad I gave it a shot. But you know, like oh, this page here. This is a pretty good page. I like that perspective in the middle of there of his hand. Really nice, and those panels at the bottom, really nice too. So yeah, there we have it. And here's our kind of final page that then leads into Detective Comics number 766. I think that says Blackhawks. Yeah, see, Blackhawks I'd like to get into. I'd like to get some more of those. And speaking of that, another one that I read, which I want to find the rest of the issues, the last three. This is from Vertigo V2K. It's Pulp Fantastic. Issue number 1, Chaykin, Teichman, and Burchett again. Written by Howard Chaykin and David Teichman, Tischman, and then illustrated by Rick Burchett. So and he does everything himself, Burchett. So this was another one that was interesting because, again, my association with Burchett with Batman Animated, and this kind of has its own style going on too. Recognizable as him, but not overly so. And then dealing with a Chaykin plot where you're going to get into more saucy territory, especially near the end. It just kind of steps you outside of things a little bit. Great first issue, a little bit of a mystery setup. Our main character, getting introduced to our main character and his kind of ups and downs and his flaws. And then these are good. This is a good page here too. Some good panels there. And then, of course, some beautiful colors there. I love that blue. Getting enticed from a gorgeous woman. Instructing him, and then getting knocked in the back of the head by someone else in the room. So, you know, a good old-fashioned cliffhanger we're left off with. So I'll be keeping my eyes open for this. I'd love to see the rest of this. Love to read the rest of this. Like I said, I think I said it anyway. Just a 4-issue miniseries on this one. So I'm guessing V2K, it came out in 2000. Let's see if we can see here. Yes, February of 2000. So there we go. Good read. And then finally, the last two. Okay. Nice. The few issues of Black Hood he penciled and inked are great too. Excellent. I'll keep an eye out for that as well. Again, another one I talked about in the stream when I jumped in on the stream a minute into it today. I loved this book. Absolutely loved this read. It was just killer. I don't know what I'm gonna do because I don't think I stand a chance of finding book 1. And here's the other thing, hey, which I forgot to say to Damien. This sucker lays flat. Everything was pretty secure in there. An absolutely phenomenal, beautifully presented, oversized format, great story, fleshed out characters. No, not really two-dimensional. There's a couple of more two-dimensional kind of characters in there, but our main characters are very thought out, and clearly have a huge history that in this issue we're getting to see more of. I don't know what it would have been like, how it all got introduced. I'm really curious to find out. One of our characters, just an absolute prick, to be honest, as she kind of threatens her grandmother. Yeah, absolutely, foam panels. That's 100% right. It's just gorgeous. Every single page, there's beautiful kind of perspectives. There's beautiful character design. There's some realistic sounding dialogue going on, and it's sort of it's a rollerblading team, basically, a roller derby team, rather. Sorry, and that's kind of the basic premise of this. So the whole kind of last third of the book is two teams kind of battling it out. While there's other stuff going on, there's other subplots going on. Fantastic. From what I understand, it was released in single issues, and I think these are the covers of them here in the back. This one was published in 2020 there, Paulo. Floss Editions. It's called, the book is called Wild, and this is book number 2, so that says Wild 2 there. And then here's some more of the the cover reproductions in the back. And then a couple more there. Just amazing. And this book is still available. I can't remember, was it on this site that I have a tab open on? Yes, it was. So I found a copy. They're not cheap. The one that I found is from, pardon me, I'm really gassy here, gutterpopcomics.com, and they have some copies. I don't know how many copies, they don't say, but $35 US, so pricey for sure, but well worth it. Very entertaining. I compared it to Love and Rockets only in so much as that this feels like a fleshed out world, and these are fleshed out characters, and they're not just kind of thrown together just for the sake of the roller derby kind of storyline. You know, it feels like there's more going on, and this also feels like it's early days of something that's going to be a big, long, epic story that's going to just continue to grow. It feels like I'm jumping in on a point, a really good point to kind of, I'm early on in their trip, and this potentially could last another 10 years for all I know. Or maybe this is all that they'll do. Who knows? If this is all that they do, that would be really unfortunate, because this does feel like a good kind of next step in a bigger universe of characters and storylines. Super, super great. Highly, highly recommended. So Wild 2. And if you see Wild 1, please jump on it and grab it. I haven't been able to find it yet. I did a bit of looking last night. I have some more digging to do. But again, Gutter Pop Comics is where I saw it. And I'm sure that there's other places that have it too. Yeah, I mean, the one thing that it reminded me of was... here, let me see. The book is right here. Some kind of Jodell vibes, like some Guy Peel art kind of vibes to it as well. Maybe not necessarily in character design, but some of the use of color in the pages and stuff really reminded me of Peel art stuff from the 60s there. So that's a beautiful, beautiful book. Well worth it. And then finally for tonight, The Magician's Wife. Jerome Chirin and Francois Bouc. Oh, hello, Gore Vidal. Good evening, T. I ordered Billy Budd KGB after you reminded me about that book. Don't know what to read tonight. Books, comics, graphic novels, problems with the libraries, too many choices. Absolutely. Too tapped out on purchases right now. Seek it out in a few months. Yeah, and I think there's still copies floating around at various sites. I'm not sure if you have a place that you normally go to. Billy, yeah, some weeks ago. Very good, very condensed. That's one that's on my list. It's sitting right up here. because I do want to get into that one. So, Magician's Wife won an award at Angoulême. Is that how you say it? A number of years ago. I don't know what year this came out. Nice kind of wraparound fold-out cover. I'm not even going to attempt it because I'll probably destroy it by opening the whole thing up. I was with it. This is 1987. Really, it was great in some parts. I loved it. I guess when it comes to awards, maybe this is a great place to end it. When it comes to awards, I guess I don't fully understand. I feel like because it got recognized and it got this award at Angoulême, I do feel like there was something that I was missing, as far as I don't really necessarily see how this is kind of an award-winning story. It's a great story, don't get me wrong. And these chapter breaks I thought were fantastic. I love the idea of us kind of behind the scenes, looking past these set pieces out into the quote-unquote real world, or we're on the stage, or is the world the stage, or whatever. Like, I love that kind of stuff. I thought it was a nice touch. That sounded so ridiculous saying that out loud, and I apologize. But his art is stunning. I really enjoy his style a hell of a lot. Again, this is not a this is not a happy story. This magician is a fucking prick. It's this very clearly an abusive relationship that's going on here, that's then roped in the daughter, who eventually becomes kind of the performer, until she decides she's had enough and gets the hell out of there. But these panels here are beautiful. Like I said, great book, great read. Is it something that is award worthy? What the hell do I know? What do I know about awards? It feels to me sometimes awards are just these weird popularity contests anyway. It doesn't really have anything to do with actual quality. Good on them for getting the recognition. But yeah, I mean, I've said it before, his books kind of, I don't know, there's not really, I don't think I picked out panels that illustrate it that well, but there's this kind of grisly nature to his characters. They don't look always that inviting, you know what I mean? So, great, really great. And as a matter of fact, maybe tonight I'll read the KGB book. I've read The Magician's Wife a very long time ago. Don't recall much. We'll reread. Yeah, I'd love to hear what you have to think about it, what you say about it there, G. Spoke about perspective in a panel in Rain Like Hammers. Did you ever read The Cage by Martin Vaughan James? No, I haven't. Now, that book is all about strange perspective. Interesting, okay? So that's about it. 43 minutes. It was a hell of a extravaganza of reading. I was talking about it today with Damien and Rasa. Having the weekly show pushes me to read. Having this 500, definitely this Twitter thing that I'm doing pushes me to read. But honestly, the amazing, incredible comics that I've been getting in makes it really easy to want to dig into this stuff. I'm very thankful for kind of everybody out there who's not only kind of given me recommendations, but kind of directed me in certain ways, especially guys like G. I got to give you a huge shout out, and Gore Vidal, and Paulo, especially when it comes to some of this kind of European and non-North American, I guess, comics. That's been really helpful to have people that know their shit and kind of point me in some directions. But then, of course, guys in town like Greg Harder, who just have an incredible catalog of stuff for me to just pick and choose from. I'm just really thankful for it. And it's these kind of things, when I have reading weeks like I've had, especially this week, it's just a nice, it's just a nice reminder of how excited I get by comics. This is the kind of stuff that really just hits me deep down with how exciting it is to not only discover stuff, but read stuff and share it with people. But honestly, when I have these kind of books coming in, I could spend the entire day just sitting and reading. The goal is, there's a Twitter hashtag. It's my 500 comics. my 500 comic goal, and the goal is to read 500 comics over the course of a year. I think at this point we're what, 4 months in, almost 5 months in. No, 4 months. I've read 250 something, so I'm more than halfway there already. But again, when I have weeks like this where there's so much coming in that I'm in love with, I'm going to blow that number out of the water. This is definitely the most that I've read in a year. I've always been a pretty good reader for the most part, but it feels like this is something special that I'm hitting. Yeah, and you're probably better off not being on Twitter. There's like anything else, you have to do some curating, which I've done over the years, and so I have a really good experience on Twitter because I've just kind of chopped things back. I'll Google the cage for sure. Thank you very much, Gore. Okay, everybody, that's it for me. Nice to see you all. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll talk to you.